Hey, guys. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. We are talking about goal setting today. So, if you're a virtual assistant or some other small business owner, even if you're not a small business owner, this is going to be a really great training. This is how I plan my annual goals. So, basically, I'm going to take you through the step by step process that I go through to plan out the entire year. And this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to ask questions, but it's going to be really, really interactive. So I'm hoping that you guys are able to join me live, but even if you're on a replay, that's okay too. This is going to be really, really good. And we're just going to talk about, man, what do you want to accomplish this next year? And how do we take actionable steps to get there? So why am I qualified to talk about this? Well, I am a business owner. Some would say a very successful business owner, and I am admittedly terrible at time management. So, this is actually how I get to the point that I am able to plot out goals for the next year. I'm a true entrepreneur, so my mind is always squirrel, this, here, look, this idea, this idea, this idea. And this is the exact method that I use to go through and actually plan out my goals and plan out, man, what am I going to be able to accomplish this year? And not just from a big picture. Oh, I want to do this huge thing in my business. I show you how I'm actually going to break it down into quarterly goals, weekly goals, even how it can work itself into your day to day. So this is going to be an action-packed training. Have you guys already? Are you like, hey, I'm totally like 2021. Here we come. Are you guys? I mean, literally, I feel like, did Christmas sneak up on anybody else? I'm just like, every year, October, I'm already almost done with my gifts. And for some reason this year, I'm like, yes, oh, Christmas, it's next week, isn't it? Here we go. Like, I feel like everything just snuck up on us this year, which is funny because we've all just been hanging out at home. But yeah, that's why I think a time like this is really important, is because it's time that we can all just come together, say, let's set aside some time to think about this next year, to think about how we're going to crush it. Because I really believe that we can take the dumpster fire that was 2020 and turn it into an amazing 2021, right? And for some of you, business-wise, this actually was a great year. I know for virtual assistants specifically, this was, a lot of people went remote, and a lot of people, I think, are more open to hiring remotely, which has been awesome for our industry, right? I don't know if any of you guys have seen kind of that traction happening, but I've been seeing it, and I'm so grateful for it, because I know that's not happening with every industry. And so I definitely humbly say, oh, I'm so grateful that the VA industry, from my view and from our students' view, has definitely picked up. So are you guys seeing that as well? Because I'm definitely seeing that. So let me know in the comments where you're joining me from, and just one thing that you're excited for 2021, because I feel like we need some positive thoughts going into this next year. All right, so I have got some really amazing things, but if you guys have not yet, before we get into the goal setting, if you guys have not yet signed up for our giveaway, we are giving away a dream home office. So you can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/win. Even if you've already submitted your entry, when you go to thevirtualsavvy.com/win, you can see more ways for you to get even more entries. And so I know there's people going in and checking in every day and getting extra entries. So you want to have as many entries as possible, because that's going to allow you to increase your chances of winning. So we will actually be announcing the winner of the giveaway next week on my live stream. Okay. So same place, same time, same place at noon here on my Facebook page, or if you're on YouTube, over on YouTube, I'm going to be announcing the winner of that giveaway. So you have 1 week left to enter to win. Yay. We've had, I think we've had 10,000 people enter, which is insane. That's crazy pants. But super awesome. And I'm excited. A bunch of you guys have been reaching out and you're like, how do I just buy the things that are in the Stream Home Office giveaway? Because I want them. And I agree. I want to buy all of them now. So maybe we'll send out links to you guys who sign up for the giveaway of, hey, if you just wanted the items, here's where you can find them, AKA Amazon. All right. So let's get into this. So I actually have a download for you guys, and here's totally free, no opt-in required or anything. But I was just thinking, let's give you guys an opportunity to go through this together. Because again, I want to show you my method for how I plan the following year. So, do any of you guys normally do this? Is this like a ritual that you do? Is at the end of every year to go through and plan out your next year? Because I've been doing that for the past 3 or 4 years now, and it's been huge, 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 huge as far as the growth of the company goes. So awesome. We've got some of you guys saying, I'm looking forward to growing my business to the next level, helping others learn. I love it. Growing. We launched in October of 2015. Yay, Sherry, I'm so excited that you've launched your business. Missouri here, yay, another Missourian. Something I'm excited for 2021 is being able to invest my time fully into building my business. Yay, I'm guessing that means you're full-time building your business now, because that is super exciting. Excited for a holiday party with some savvies tonight. Hey, so fun. Looking forward to gaining new clients in 2021. I'm so excited for that for you as well. Okay, so it sounds like, oh, good. Someone's saying that the YouTube link isn't working, so that's good. Yes, I'm over, or where'd it go? The Facebook link may not be working. Sorry about that, guys. YouTube. The StreamYard is what we use to stream, and it's been a little crazy lately. So I'm so glad that you guys are still able to join us over on YouTube. I have a feeling we'll be getting some more people coming over, because probably people clicking the Facebook link and then saying, that don't work. Let's do the YouTube one. All right, so if you guys, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to thevirtualsavvy.com/2021 goals, okay? Go to that link. Let me know that it works. Give me some hearts, thumbs up. Tell me in the chat. Make sure that you're able to download this. So this is what we're going to be working through on this training, and I'm going to walk you through how I use this worksheet, how my team uses this worksheet, and how we go through and we actually plan out our following year with this method. So let me know. Make sure that works. And again, this is no opt-in required. I'm just giving this to you for free. Okay. Cool. Let's see here. Working. All right. Thanks, Sherry. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk through what we do to plan out our goals. And the very first thing that we do, and I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. So it's going to look a little funky. Everybody see this okay? Yeah. Maybe I'll zoom in a little so you guys can really see. All right, so when it comes to planning out our following year, one of the best things that you guys can do is to really take a look back at this previous year. And I know for some of you, like we were saying in the comments, some of you guys are like, Abby, I just started my business in October. Like there's not a whole lot to reflect on. But I'm guessing that there is. And maybe even if you haven't started your business yet, I want you to think through like even some of the mindset things that you had, like what went well? Well, I started researching my virtual assistant business. I found out what a virtual assistant was, right? Or whatever it may be. And again, you can even apply these methods to a non-VA business. You can, if you want to be looking at this as far as your health or your finances or your relationships or any other area of your life, you can use the same kind of methodology. But one of the first things that we do is that we go through and we do a time of reflection. And so I know that right now is probably, you guys are not going to have the time to go through this entirely, but just jot down a few things, okay? So first off, and if you want to put this in the chat, that's totally fine as well. I want to make sure the link was still up. So I want you to tell me in the chat, tell me here, what is it that went well? What went well this past year? What are you proud of, right? And this is actually a fillable document. So if you guys are going to thevirtualsavvy.com/goals, you can actually type in here, right? Maybe it was, I found out what a VA was, right? Hey, that's something exciting. That's something that you celebrated. Maybe you carved out time in your calendar to actually work. It sounds like some of you possibly quit your job this year or your job allowed you the opportunity to work on your business full time, however you want to view it. So just jot down a couple things, and I want to see in the chat as well. Jot down a couple of things that really went well this year and some things that you are proud of, and post some of those in the comments too, because we want to celebrate with you. Okay, so after we've done that, we want to take a look at what didn't go well or could be improved, right? And so I think this is, again, if you need to go and do this after this training and go a little bit more in depth, but go ahead while we're here on the live stream and write down a couple of things that could have been improved. Hey, Abby, I got a few clients, but I'm realizing that maybe my filtering system for seeing who's a good fit is not good. Or, I'm marketing, I'm getting lots of discovery calls, but I'm not closing the sale. So maybe I need to work on my discovery calls, right? Maybe I need to be better during discovery calls. Maybe I'm just not getting out there at all. Like, Abby, I've got all my systems. I even built a little website, but I am not really doing the best at getting myself out there and at, I'm not really doing the best at getting myself out there and at really seeing, or like really getting the marketing part of this going, right? So if that's the case, write that down. So a couple of things, what went well and what could be improved, all right? And then here's this last section. What other big ideas, goals do you have for 2021? And this is kind of that brain dump section, okay? And so I want this to, and if it needs to spill out past this page, it's fine. Again, this is fillable. So you may type in here like, I want to get on podcasts, right? Like, hey, I'm now a Pinterest manager. Or maybe you want to niche down. You're like, I want to pursue Pinterest management. I want to pursue YouTube management. I want to raise my rates this year. I want to go on a vacation this year, right? I think all of us said amen to that. All of us want to go on a vacation. I want to get myself out there. I want to I want to be a speaker, even if it's just for like a virtual event. I want to speak. I want to I want to hit 10K months. What is it? What are the big ideas or the big goals? And again, this is a brain dump. So there's nothing actually has to be completely solidified here, but just go ahead and let me know in the comments some of the things that you guys are brain dumping here. What is it that you guys are thinking through that you really want to accomplish in this next year? Some of you guys, it may be that you just want to start your VA business, right? You're like, okay, Abby, I'm finally going to take the leap. 2021 is going to be the year that I actually make this thing happen. While we're here, I want to note, just because I know some of you guys are filling this in as we go along, I want to note that whenever you download this document, you want to make sure that you download it before you close out of it, because if you close out of this, everything that you saved is going to be gone. Okay. So I feel like that's really important. You can download, you can also do print. And for me, I can usually, I can save it to Google Drive, or I can just save as a PDF and I can save it that way. And that is, you can physically print it out too if you have your printer connected. But I just don't want you guys to lose all this really good information. So I'm giving you a heads up about filling out documents like this. All right. I'm going to take a little break before we go on to page 2, because I want to see what you guys have said here, the big ideas, the goals that you have for 2021, what has went well, what hasn't gone well. So let me take a look at that real quick. Okay. I want to begin working with my first client. Hey, Yolanda said that I joined the Savvy system and I launched my business. That's definitely something to celebrate. I would like to niche down and have enough savings to take vacation. I love that. Oh my goodness. Let's see, where do I get the goal planning worksheet? It's right here, thevirtualsavvy.com/2021 goals. We're working through it all together. Okay. Podcast started and learned time management, not be so distracted with my 4-year-old and myself. Yes. Oh my goodness. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. Okay. I have to get clients this year, enough planning, trying to get everything set up and perfect. Just do it. Oh, one of our core values here at the Virtual Savvy is action over perfection. And it's a core value because we know that we savvies tend to be perfectionists. And so we have to be reminded sometimes, hey, we've got to take action even if it's not perfect. All right, let's keep going. You guys good? Yes? Again, you can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/2021 goals if you are going through this worksheet, this planning worksheet with us. And I hope you are, because again, you can come back to it even if you don't do it perfect. Action over perfection, right? All right, let's jump back over to our goal planning sheet. So now we're going to go to my 2021 annual goals. And let me back up a second here so you can see this. So again, we want this to be your actual goals. So this is all of your ideas. These are the things that I could do. Maybe I start a podcast. Maybe I show up on Instagram. Maybe I come up with a YouTube strategy. I want to get more clients, right? I want you to refine it down a little bit more, or you can just use this as spillover space if you want. Here's what the end goal is, right? I want, through these brainstormings, if you want to narrow it down a little bit here, or if you want this to be spillover space, whatever works for you, at the end of this, I want you to have 3 big things that you're going to accomplish. And I would love for this to be specifically in your business, because here's the thing, guys. If your energy is going in 5, 10, 20 different places, then you're not going to go very far in any of those. What if, and 3 is the max. You literally could just have one of these goals, right? You could just say, hey, I want to get on 100 podcasts this year. And that's like your number one goal, right? If everything else is working well and you have a good onboarding system, your discovery calls are going well, then it's just like, well, now I've just got to get out there, right? Now I've just got to let people know what I'm offering. And so maybe that's like your one main goal. But I think for most of us, we have, when we're looking at the areas that we've done well and what could really be improved, most of us know, right? Most of us know, here's the snag in my system. And this is really what my concentration needs to be on. So I'm going to master marketing. Like I'm just going to figure out how to market my business this year, or I'm going to raise my prices. I'm going to, pay off my debt. It could definitely be a goal that is related to the success of your business too. Okay. So I want you to come up with the big 3 things. These are the 3 huge things that I want to accomplish this next year. And maybe while we're going live right now, you just have one of them and you want to come back and revisit. That's okay. Again, I'm just kind of showing you my system, but if you need to take this and have some alone time, have some time to work through this a little bit, that's totally fine. But do any of you guys know, are any of you guys like, man, I already know, like hands down, these are my big 3 goals for next year, or this, at least one of them? Go ahead and put in the comments if you're like, Abby, yes, 100%. I'm going to make, I'm going to get to $10,000 months in my business. I'm going to, I'm going to get on those 100 podcasts. I'm going to become a Pinterest manager. I'm going to sell out my services. I'm going to pay off my debt. What is it? Okay. And I want you to put it here in the comments if you already know what one of those goals are. Okay. All right, let me go back. I'm going to jump back and forth a bunch because I want to keep seeing. There's probably a better way I could have done this. Sorry, I'm obviously super, super great at tech. All right, I love this. All right, yeah, I think the Facebook page is not streaming correctly, so sorry guys. I'm glad you guys are finding it in the group and over on YouTube. Okay, to get 5 new clients, yay, Brianna! I absolutely love that. That's an amazing goal for next year. Anybody else? Do any of you guys have like, all right, here's what I want to accomplish? Ooh, hit 8K months. Yes, Rose. I love it. I absolutely love it. To get 6 new clients. Perfect. Awesome. To start my business. Yes, Christine. Amazing. Ooh, this is really specific. I love specific goals. I'm going to be a Pinterest expert in 2021, get awesome clients, and have 5-figure months. Yes, I love it. Maintain 7 retainer clients, going to get over my fear of rejection. Oh, this is so good, you guys. And here's the thing, when you guys can get laser focused, and this isn't just something that you're like, okay, I'm going to post these goals, but not really put them anywhere, right? These need to be what you wake up and what you look at every single day. So, and we're going to talk about this here in a little bit. So I'm going to incorporate it. But these big 3 goals, when you just have these big 2 or 3 things that you're like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm focusing on in my business. What happens is that when other opportunities come in, right? So let's say this year is your year of marketing. You're like, I'm going to get out there. I know my internal systems are good. I've got my stuff all together. It's the year that I'm going to get out there and start marketing. So in quarter 2, when you're like, man, maybe I should rebrand. Maybe I should have a new website. What you can do is come back and say, does this directly support my main goals for the year, right? Because I will tell you, one of the biggest things that can get you to your goals is just learning to say no to the things that aren't directly related to what you've set your mind to, right? Because you could do 1,000 different things, right? And if you're like, I'm going to be a Pinterest manager and I'm going to sell out my Pinterest management services and da 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 da, and then this little, you get an email about a 5-day challenge to start a podcast, and you're like, maybe I should do that. Nope. Like, this is what I set my goals to, right? And and you can, I always have a list of future ideas running all the time. It's like, I need a holding place for them. So I don't know if you guys use a tool like Trello or ClickUp or Asana or how you manage your own projects, but having a place to just dump those ideas, it's like the not for now list, right? Because there's so many things that you could do, but this is what you're saying. Nope, I'm putting my blinders on, and this is my focus for 2021 is to do these 1, 2, or 3 things. And that is it. And if something else comes up, I'm going to put it in my not for now list. Okay. Unless if it directly supports. And we could say like, oh, well, I want to get 5 new clients and building a new website. If my website's prettier, then people want to be my client more and da da. Yeah, that's kind of stretching it, okay? Because most of us, again, we will use like perfecting our own little needs to this new color, or this new font, or this new thing. We distract ourselves with that instead of just actively going out and getting clients, right? Actively working on our marketing and connecting with people, which is where we need to be, okay? So you're like, I thought this was 2021 planning time, not Abby beat us up time. That's what I do, but I beat you up with kindness, okay? Here we go. We're putting our blinders on. Let's keep going, all right? So you're going to come up with your 3 big goals. Here are my 3 big goals, okay? And here's what I need you to do. Your big goals, some of them may be, I want to hit $10,000 months. That's amazing, right? But what is it going to take to get there? Okay, so I like for these big goals to be kind of the big picture. Here's when I look back at 2021, I'm going to be able to say, oh, I accomplished these 1, 2, or 3 things, right? I accomplished something huge. So this is like where you're going to look back on. What we're going to do now is looking forward. How are you actually going to get to that place? And so if you had a goal, I keep coming back to the podcast thing, I don't know why, but if you said, I want to get on 100 podcasts this year, okay, well then the simplest thing to do is to try to get on 25 podcasts each quarter. So breaking, and I think this is where a lot of us get lost. We plan a goal for the year, but we don't really break it up and figure out how that goal is going to work itself into our everyday life. And so that's where this next step is so incredibly important, is where you're actually going to break up your goal into each quarter. And what's awesome too is what it does, again, is it puts the blinders on, right? And so if you're like, I want to get 10 new clients this year, right? Or 7 retainer clients. I think somebody in the comments said that they want 7 new retainer clients. Okay, so what there's a book called 4DX. It's the 4 Disciplines of Execution. It's a very technical book. I had to read it like 4 times to like really grasp the concepts, but it's called the 4 Disciplines of Execution. And what it is they talk about lead goals, lead measures, and lag measures. Okay, stay with me here. A lead measure is saying, or I'll tell you what a lag measure is. A lag measure is, I got 7, I want 7 new clients. So you can track how, I got a new client, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the result of your actions, right? A lead measure is what is it going to take to get to that point? What is it going to take to get 7 new clients? So for you, if one of your marketing methods is that you're going to, go to 4 networking events a quarter or something like that, right? And maybe there are virtual networking events right now, but I'm going to go to these networking events. I'm going to develop a Pinterest strategy or an Instagram strategy. I'm going to apply for 2 job ops every single day, right? Those are lead measures. They're the measures, they're the actions that you're going to take, and they're trackable to going to get you to the end result. Okay. So I want to make sure that your goals are actually getting you to a place that's going to accomplish your big goal. So again, a great goal is I want 7 new clients. All right. So what does that mean? How are you going to break that up? All right. And so break it up into each quarter. What new marketing methods are you going to try? Maybe quarter 1, you want to get more people coming in and getting your discovery calls, right? You want more traffic coming in. And quarter 2, you want to like perfect your discovery call process. Just be a pro and start closing 75% of your discovery calls, right? And so what are the things that are going to get you to that point? Does that make sense? Kind of the difference between like that cause and effect. So we want the cause goals, not always just the effect goal. The effect is 10 new clients. The cause, what actually caused it to happen is, these different marketing methods. I'm going to apply to 2 job opportunities a day or whatever it may be. All right. So, and then what's awesome too about quarterly goals is you can keep your big goal, if you have like somewhere on your desktop that you want to look at that every day, if you want to put it into Trello and have it as a daily thing that you look at. But your quarterly goals is like, I don't have to worry about what's going to happen in quarter 4. All I need, again, blinders and simplicity. I just need to focus on these 2 or 3 things. And if I can do these 2 things in quarter 1, well, then in quarter 2, I just have to focus on that. And then quarter 3 and that. And then you look back and you're like, oh, dang, like I did it, right? I accomplished my goal by breaking it up into smaller goals. And so that's what we're going to do here. So any questions about this? Because I know that this is where it can get a little bit more confusing, a little bit like, oh, how do I actually make that happen? And this is a great place to be utilizing our Savvies community too, is jumping in there and saying like, hey, one of my big goals is to XYZ. Do you guys have any ideas of how I could break that up into quarterly goals, right? Definitely use the community as well to come up with this. So let me check out what you guys have said here, because I can't look at these as I'm going. All right, you guys posting more of your goals. I love this, the not for now list. Oh my gosh, you guys, my not for now list is so long. It's ridiculous. And I heard this method once. I don't know if he calls it the not for now list, but I met Pat Flynn at a conference and we were talking and I was like, how do you, when you have like all these other ideas and projects, like how, cause he has Smart Passive Income. If you guys don't know who Pat Flynn is, he's like one of the marketing gurus in like the online business space. And so he has this podcast, it's his main revenue. But then like 2 years ago, he launched this product called SwitchPod. And I was like, that must have been on his like not for now list, And I was like, at what point do you like focus on something on your not for now list? Because I have a whole list of things on my not for now list. And so what he would do is he would just set aside, I think for him, it was like every Friday was just like his other things day. He's full time, right? And he has a whole team of people. So for you guys, it may be like, man, maybe I'll just spend 2 hours a day, or not 2 hours a day, 2 hours every Friday working on something that's like not really my main focus, right? Like if you need that outlet, then that's fine. But I thought that was really interesting of like, okay, if you know you're going to get distracted by little shiny things, then give yourself an hour a week just to be distracted by shiny things, to work on that other little side hustle or to work on your blog or your whatever, but it's like this 1 hour a week and that's it. And then the other time I can be focused on the things that are actually going to get me to my big goal. Okay, so I love this. Get 5 clients to make $2K a month, get my website published, up and running, learn 1 new program, Canva. All right, so I want to know what your big goal is, because if we went back, Elizabeth, I feel like your big goal was to get clients. Now I'm looking, I can't find it. So if your big goal is to get the clients, or maybe this might be your annual goals. If this is your annual goals, I think that that's great. We just want to break these up into quarters, okay? Because get 5 clients to make 2K a month. You're going to need a system for how you're going to do that. So are you going to spend an hour a day marketing 4 days a week, right? What's it actually going to look like? So you need to break that down even more, okay? Um, awesome. Ooh, I see a Canva grid desktop wallpaper for my future. That's awesome, Yolanda. I love it. Okay, so let's keep going. Are you guys with me? Yes, give me some thumbs up, hearts, love, whatever. In the comments, say I'm with you, Abby, if you're following along. So what we've done, we've kind of squirrel brained. Here's all the things I could do. I'm going to come up with my big 3 goals, and then I'm going to break it down into quarters. All right. And someone's asking, can I get a replay of this? Yes, absolutely. I understand I'm going through this very quickly. So as soon as I'm done with this, it'll just turn into a replay. And so you'll be able to visit it on my YouTube, in our Savvies group, and we'll at least try to repost it to the page. I don't know why it's not working on our Facebook page. But here we go. So, so we broke this all down, right? So now, and again, I'm showing you what works for me. This is the someone who's not great at time management's way of breaking apart my goals and making sure I actually accomplish them. And this is what I've done every year in my business for the past few years. Okay. Now this is something that I am a huge fan of, okay? And it's called my ideal week. And it's basically a version of time blocking. So whatever you want to call it. But here's the thing, guys, if you want your goals to actually happen, you're going to have to figure out how to work those goals into your day-to-day life. You can't just say, I'm going to spend, 2 hours a day marketing if you don't have 2 hours a day to market, right? And so for you guys, you've got to figure out, like, man, how am I actually going to work this into my everyday life? What does an ideal week look like for you? And for me, this isn't just business. Like for me, I have to meld business and life together and say, these are the set aside time. I know for a lot of you guys, time in your business is one of the most difficult things. Is like, I just don't have the capacity, I don't have the time to work on my business. And when I do have the time to work on my business, I'm all over the place, right? I'm not organized. And so we're tackling both of those things. When is my devoted, not my distracted time to work on my business? And in those time slots, what am I going to be working on? So again, you can fill this in here, right? And break it up however you want. You can say, from 9 to 2 is kind of like church time. Then, from 2 to 4 is family time. And then, whatever it may be. And you can put in your personal stuff. And then, 9 to, or let's see, who goes to school at 9? 7 to 9 is kids ready and take to school. And then from 9 to 10 is maybe like your dailies, which we'll talk about in a little bit. From 10 to 11 is my marketing hour, right? And so go through and you can actually write in, what would a schedule look like that works for you, that works for your family, that works for your kids. And if you're like, man, I really want, one of my quarterly goals is to get to where I'm working 10 hours a week on my business. Like for some of you guys, you're like, I don't have that set aside time. Make that one of your goals and figure out how it's going to happen, right? So it may be that you need to ask for help from your spouse or from a neighbor or from somebody and do like a kid swap one night or whatever it may be, right? So you've got to figure out what it's going to work like, what's going to look like. Maybe you set the expectation, hey kiddos, Monday nights is movie night and mommy works on her business night. Okay. And one night a week, we're going to take 2 hours where you guys are doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, and just going ahead and planning that out. And I'll be really honest with you, this helps me a lot. Like I'm a mom of a 5 and a 7-year-old. Doing this helps me so much with like mom guilt. Like it still creeps up on me sometimes. Like I literally had a moment this morning where like my son was like talking about his eyes and like he has glasses, but we haven't been really making him wear them. And he was like, Mom, when I see things, like it's kind of blurry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have not taken the time to get him another eye doctor appointment. I had like this mom guilt setting in. It's like, you know what? My coach says this, we fight overwhelm with a plan. Like when I have those feelings of overwhelm, like, oh, I'm not doing a good enough job. It's like, nope, that is not true. I am a good mom and a good business owner. I can be both of these things. And I just need to come up with a plan. So I'm setting aside some time today to figure out, okay, this weekend we're going to get him a new, a new prescription for his glasses and da 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 da. Like that's just reality, right? And so you can fight this feeling of overwhelm with a plan. You can fight feelings of like, oh, I feel like I'm always on the computer, when it's like when I'm with my kids, I'm always on the computer and they're like, Mom always works. Oh, that's like the worst feeling if your kids say that. I've been there. I've been through seasons like that. And so, but when I have it on the calendar and I look, I'm like, okay, well now I have set aside time for my kids. I feel like maybe I should show you guys. I do this in Google Calendar. So I'll just show you like I'll go into like June and you can see how I've broken it up. Okay. So this is what my calendar looks like. It took me probably like an hour one day to really get this and get it right, because all these things are just repeating. That's why I can go into June and you can still see what my life is going to look like. Right. And so, but we do afternoon church, and this is just kind of like a family day for me. I don't know if you guys can see this all right, but I have team meetings on Mondays. And if you look at this, I basically have where I have sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, and these are basically my working hours. And I just know I have the expectation every day, I'm only going to get 3 things done today, right? And now I know your schedule is going to look different. I do work full time. I'm super, super blessed. It didn't start out that way. Okay. I started out just hustling nights and weekends and all of that. And now I do this full time. And so this is what my schedule looks like now, but you can adjust this and figure out what is your schedule going to look like. Right. And so I can know like 4 to 7:30 every single night, like I'm done. Computer is off. I can't work at night because my brain won't fall asleep if I work at night. So I have to be done pretty much by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm done working and I'm like, all right, I accomplished my things for today. If it didn't happen, it's going to get moved to the next day. All right. So a big part of accomplishing more is just having realistic expectations of ourselves. And so that's where this ideal week really comes into play. All right. Is this making sense to you guys? So you guys can do this on a Google Calendar if it helps you to write it out on something like this, to break it up here. If you just want to get out a piece of paper, maybe this is something that you need to sit down with like your spouse and be like, all right, let's come up with our family ideal week, right? What does everybody have going on? So the ideal week, it's huge. It's a huge component of your goal setting because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is actually working those goals into your everyday life. Okay. Make sense? Yes. How are we feeling? Overwhelmed? Do you guys like this? And I know, again, some of you guys are like, Abby, I need the replay because this is going to take some time to come through. But yes, here we go. Question. This is a great question. How do you decide what your sprints 1, 2, and 3 are? That's a really good question. So for me, my daily sprints, so I look every single day at my quarterly goals. Okay, so that's part of it is there any action I need to take today to work on my quarterly goal? And a lot of times it's just like those little things that I just know that I need to do, right? So if there's not a giant action step that I have to take today for my quarterly goal, then I will just say, what are the other things? And I prioritize them. So again, we use ClickUp, so I can drag and drop my tasks in order of priority. And so I just take the things that are the highest priority. But you could do the same thing even on a to-do list, right? Is that you could number your tasks, or you could do ABC to-do lists. Have you guys ever heard of ABC to-do lists? This changed my life. And it's essentially what I do now, but I do like a digital version. So whenever you're making a to-do list for yourself, pen and paper, because I know some of you guys are pen and paper people. Okay, so when you're making a to-do list for yourself, This is one of the best things ever that my friend Corey taught me. So, oh, this is a blank pencil. Let's see here. Totally prepared, Abby. Totally prepared. Okay, this is super fancy. Okay, when you make your to-do list every morning or every week or however often you make it, what you want to do is you want to make an ABC to-do list. Okay, and so A are the things that are important and urgent. Like these have to happen today. B are the things that are important, but maybe not urgent, right? Or maybe they're kind of urgent, but they're not that important. So basically, like if I get everything done on my A list, then I'm going to work on my B list, right? And then the C is kind of that like save for later. I would even say that there's another list and it's not on this paper at all. And this is like that's the save for later list of like, I don't need to work on that at all, right? But C is like maybe they're important, but you don't really need to do it in like the next month or two, right? And so you're going to have to determine. But then when you look at your A list every day, it's like, okay, I have 3 hours, and it's realistic. Like, what 3 things can I realistically get done? And they're going to come from your A list. Okay. And again, you could do this same concept virtually. So you could, it's wherever you house your to-do list. Hopefully you guys all have a to-do list somewhere. If it's a pen and paper, if it's a Trello board, if it's ClickUp like we use, whatever, wherever you keep your tasks, just have a way to filter through which one are the most important and urgent and which ones are less important or less urgent. Okay. Yeah. Good questions. I'm seeing some good questions here. I'm going to have my team answer some of those questions because I want to make sure we get through all this content. Okay. The Franklin Covey system, ABC 1, 2, 3. I actually don't know that, but it's probably the same. I heard this from my friend Corey system, but he could have heard it from, it could be the Franklin Covey system. All right, cool. Let's keep going. You guys are sticking with me, so I think you're liking this. That's good. All right, so your ideal week, okay? And so this is where your quarterly goals, this is where they're going to come into play, right? This is when you are going to figure out, if I said I was going to do 2 hours of marketing every single day, where is that actually going to work out in my schedule, right? Where is it going to show up? Where am I going to show up to accomplish these things? It's just like if you were going through this project and you said, I'm going to eat healthier in 2021. Okay, well then for you, it would probably be good for you to spend, Sunday, take a 4-hour chunk of time and meal prep for the week, right? Plan out your entire meals. And so this system can be applied to anything where you come up with your big goal, you break it up into quarterly goals, and then you say, how is that actually going to happen in my week, right? How am I actually going to accomplish this on a day-to-day basis? Knowing that all of us have different lives, right? I know some of you guys are balancing homeschooling kids and you're like, I'm instantly a homeschool mom. Yay. I didn't choose this. I know for some of you guys that you are, you're moving or you have family members that are sick or you are, you are working a full-time job. So that's something that's really important about the ideal week is this is the, like, if everything goes to plan, this is what my week is going to look like. Can I tell you, most weeks, not everything goes to plan, and that's okay. My calendar shifts my husband threw his back out this last week. And so instantly I went from, oh, look at all this time I have in my calendar to I now drive 3 hours a day to take my kids to school and bring them home until he can start doing drop off and pick up again. So like life changes and that's part of it, right? And that's why I like doing the ideal week here, but then transferring it to something like a Google Calendar, because you can see I had to go in, I had to change things. And this week it's take kids to school, get kids from school, right? And I had to shift it, and that's totally fine. You shift and you adjust, and that is life, right? All right. So then we were talking about how do you plan on what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis. So when you sit down each and every day, that is when you're going to come up with the like and for some of you guys it's the first thing that you do in the morning. For some of you guys it's what you do in the evening. You have to do what works for you, but I would cap your day with planning what you're going to do either that next day or the morning. So for me, it usually happens when I sit down and work. Although I would like to be a person that does it in the evening, it usually doesn't happen. I usually just plop on the bed and like watch Goldbergs with my husband, and then I go to bed and wake up and I'm like, okay, what am I doing today, right? So whatever works better for you. But you're going to go through and that's when you're going to decide on a day-to-day basis, what are the big three things, right? What are my big three sprints? What are the big things that I'm going to accomplish today, and be okay if it's just those three things, right? And for some of you guys, it may be your clients, right? So I'm going to do client A, client B, client C, and then, maybe you have another little section where it's like, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to work on my own business, right? So you're going to have to figure out how that's going to be time blocked up. But what are the big things that actually need to happen today? And then for me, something that really, really helps is also having a daily checklist. Again, I'll show you. ClickUp is what we use. I'm just letting you in my life right here. Hopefully there's nothing incredibly embarrassing here. So my to-do list, right? If it's going to come up, I have a daily checklist, right? And so that's right here. And so my daily checklist, and I've already completed a bunch of these things. So I go through and I check Slack, which is what we do with our team, right? I time block my day. I make sure what does my time block look like? I look at like our social calendar. Are there any emails I need to be sending out? Anything like that? I check my to-do list for the day and I kind of do that prioritization. Then I check Facebook. So that's way down here. I haven't even checked Facebook today because today's been a little crazy. I'm still working through my dailies. But then, how do I go through, and these are like the daily things. So part of my schedule is actually looking at my dailies, right? I have dailies on here. And so I have an hour just to go through those things that I have to do on a daily basis. So your list is probably going to look different than mine, right? But what are the daily things? And so for me, it's, let me look at those goals. Let me look at my goal sheet. Let me look at my ABC to-do list, whatever it may be. For some of you, you need to check my email every day, see if I have stuff coming from my clients. Maybe it's you check in with your clients every day. Maybe it's that that you have to send invoices or whatever it may be, right? Is there anything that needs to happen on a daily basis? Go ahead and have a daily checklist. And what's cool is most systems, it could be that you have, again, if you're pen and paper people, maybe you have like a daily checklist and you print it out every single day. But most online systems, Trello, ClickUp, I'm pretty sure Asana, all have like some kind of reoccurring event. And so that's what you would create, is a reoccurring event of the things that need to happen on a daily basis. And just like, this is what's going to set me up right for my day. Does that make sense? So what would your dailies be? What are the daily things that you maybe need to take 30 minutes or an hour to be like, boom, 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 check my email, did this, did that, check my socials, all the things. Okay, now I'm really ready to attack my big three things for the day. This has been a lot, I know. But hopefully this has been helpful to you to see, how do I take what my big goal is, right? That was the very big thing. It's like, what are the big things? What are my big dreams that I want for this year? How am I gonna, narrow that down? So I say, if my business can move forward in these three ways, I'll look back and say, dang, this was an awesome year. Right? And then how are you going to break that up into each quarter? Quarter one, this will be my focus. 2, 3, 4. This is going to be my focus for each quarter. Now, how is that going to work into my actual week? Like, how am I going to make sure I actually have the time and the capacity to work through those quarterly goals? And then on a day-to-day basis, how am I going to make sure that I'm actually focusing on what needs to be focused on. How am I going to prioritize? How am I going to set realistic expectations for myself? Because I'm telling you guys, if you have 100 things on your to-do list and they all seem important and urgent, and you have 2 hours a day to work, you're always going to be beating yourself up, feeling like you didn't get enough done when it wasn't a matter of that you weren't productive enough. I would guess 99% of you guys are not lazy people, right? You're here at noon on a Tuesday to figure out how to be, to accomplish your goals. You guys aren't lazy people. Savvies aren't lazy. But you guys, we are people who tend to beat ourselves up a little bit. And I do know that. And part of it is not that you're not getting enough done, that you need better time management, da 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 da. A lot of it is that we just need to manage our expectations a little bit more. You have unrealistic expectations of yourself, especially when it comes to your time. So sometimes shifting our schedule, like the weekly plan, right? Sometimes shifting your schedule can give you more time. But the other side of that is just being a little bit more realistic on what can actually happen in a given week or in a given day. Okay. So I know I'm like preaching to the choir right now. So, but that's definitely a huge thing for me and in our family that we're like, realistically, what can we get done today? Right. And yeah. All right. That is all I have. If you guys have questions, then for sure. Again, if you want to download that spreadsheet, it's right here. It's for free. You guys can just download that. You don't have to do an opt-in or anything. I just made this really quickly before we jumped on live. I was like, you guys need a worksheet. So I just made one real quick. Here's where it gets hard. Actually following the plan. I struggle with adapting the goals during the day when unexpected stuff comes up, and I always underestimate how long it takes me to do stuff. Yeah, I get that for sure. And that's why, for me, I like having the big three things be like 3 1-hour chunks, because a lot of times those actually, like, things run over, things happen, and it ends up being a 20-minute chunk of time to get something done, but I still can get it done in that amount of time, right? And so I just don't expect myself to be able to get a lot done, because I know, kids kids are going to get sick, or, somebody's going to need something, or little things are going to come up. But again, I think that's a big part of us also learning to say no, learning to say no to our own distractions or to other people. No, being able to actually prioritize things. It's hard, but it's doable, guys, and it's so refreshing when we do get this right. If something's taking longer than an hour, do you finish it or leave and come back? So if you know that you have a project that's going to take longer than an hour, then it could cover like 2 sprints. I would break it up into 1-hour sessions. And so, like this whole day, sprint 1, 2, and 3 is all going to be working on this particular project. It doesn't really matter like how much time it takes, as long as you like as long as you plan it out, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I would have it cross over 3 different areas, or break it up a little bit. Sometimes it's nice to pull away from something and then come back to it. So, whatever works best for you. I don't know if you guys have done this before. I'm a huge fan of work getaways. And so, especially like in this land of coronavirus, sometimes it's nice to have a little getaway. And for me, if I have a massive project, so let's say, well, like for me, like I record YouTube videos and I need to batch record YouTube videos. So I'll record like 3 or 6 months of videos at a time. I can't do that in my house, like with distractions, with my computer here, with all the things. Like I have to go somewhere. So I will usually rent an Airbnb for the night. Actually, I'll do it for 2 nights. And then that whole day I will just spend filming. And so I've done that before. Like if there was like a new program I was going to launch, or if I want to like redefine my packages, or if I want to come up with a new marketing method, or there's this course I bought and I just want to just go through and just get a ton of it done. Sometimes, like changing where you work, and maybe you can't afford to get an Airbnb, that's fine. Maybe it's like, I'm just going to go to the library today and work, or I'm going to which isn't, sometimes they have the little room so you don't have to like sit with a mask on the whole time because that would not be fun. But, or again, I'm going to go to an Airbnb, or maybe like I'm just going to go to a different part of the house even, or I'm going to go, my friend has an office. I'm just going to go like see if I can work in my friend's office. Sometimes just if you have a massive project and you're like, this is an all day project, but I want to get it done. Like for me, if I go somewhere and I'm like, while I'm here, I'm going to finish my website, right? And I go there and like that house symbolizes like me finishing the website. So that's just a little trick that I do sometimes. Plus, it's a really fun excuse to rent an Airbnb and call it a business expense. All right. Oh, this is interesting. I'm using my social media time as a reward for when I complete the work I have to get done, so I avoid falling into the black hole of social media. Yes, for sure. If you guys have not turned notifications off on your phone for social media, do it now. Oh my gosh, it's so helpful. Like, because if you don't have those little notifications that come up on your computer, get rid of those too. Like, yeah, for email and for that, I don't. The only time like I get notified on something on my phone is if I have a text message or a phone call. And sometimes I wish I could just turn that off too. I do not disturb sometime. That way at least won't like chime. I'm like, nope, that's not what I'm working on right now. I'm working on this other thing. Thank you. Seem to have the squirrel distractions a lot, so breaking it down won't be so overwhelming. Yay, good. Yeah. We entrepreneurs we are a distracted bunch, but that's what makes us entrepreneurs, right? Like if our minds weren't going a million miles an hour, then we probably wouldn't be true entrepreneurs. Like that's what makes us unique. But that's also what makes us accomplish big things. And so I'm telling you guys, if you were the kind of people that are like, that's what that is energy, right? Like you guys, your energy and your thoughts are just going bing, 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 bing. So if you can focus all of that energy into like one or two things, it's literally life-changing, like life-changing. It's hard, but it's worth it. Goal for 2021 is have a long weekend in a hotel every other month. Oh my gosh, I love it. Work dates with yourself. Man, that's a good night. You order some room service, you work on your website or whatever it is. I love it. Yes, I turned off notifications this year. So true. It's just, I'm sorry. There are too many ways to get a hold of people. I have this whole rant where I'm like, yeah, I have this whole rant about like 20 years ago, right? Like you could call someone and let's see, 20 years ago, could you email people? Yes, I think you could. Oh my gosh, how old am I? It's sad. But like let's go before email, right? Like before the internet existed. And I mean, really, like you could call people and you could page people. But it was like, it's okay if it takes me a little bit of time to respond. And there's something that happened, like the digital age. Obviously, I'm a fan of technology and of the digital age. It makes all of this possible, right? But something happened when it was like, well, now you can call me, or you can text me, or you can DM me, or you can send me an email, or you can, ping me on Facebook and tag me, and you can do all these different things. And for some of us, we feel like that all of those things have to be responded to immediately, right? Like back in the day, people just had letters. It would take weeks to respond to people. So I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, if you text me and it takes me a day or two to respond, like that's okay. It just means I have boundaries, right? I'm a really bad texter. Anyone who knows me personally knows that you have to actually text my husband if you want to talk to me because I'm just really bad at it. But I don't really care because I'm doing other things, right? Like I'm focused on what I need to focus on. And so, yeah, that's it. My little rant on technology for the day. I removed Facebook and Messenger completely off of my phone. If I'm not on the computer, I'm not available. Period. Life changing. So good. It's still faster than a letter. Exactly, right? I love it. All right, guys. You guys are amazing. I hope that this was helpful. Again, go to thevirtualsavvy.com/2021 goals if you want that goal planning worksheet that we worked on. If you guys are, I know a couple of you said in the comments, like, Abby, I'm still just starting. I don't even know what I need to be working on to start my virtual assistant business. We have a checklist, thevirtualsavvy.com/VA checklist. You can go, you can download that checklist, and it will tell you step by step. So one of your quarterly goals can just be, I'm going to spend, an hour a day working on my business. What does working on my business mean? It's going through this checklist and just checking off the things one by one. Okay. And then, yeah, that should be it. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you have an awesome rest of the day.